kvöldi. My name is Einar Eymundsson. I'm a developer, graduated with bachelor's degree from University of Reykjavik, and I've been working as a software specialist for 3 years now. My goal here is to spark some interest. I'll be going over a lot of topics, and it's high level, sort of just to touch on everything and see if I can inform you about anything that's going to be happening in this technology in the coming years. First off, I want to give you a quick visual representation of the data structure of a blockchain. So a blockchain is just a list. It's a list of blocks, and each block contains data. And why don't we call it a block list? That's because every block is chained together. Every block contains information about the previous block. So if you try to change it, you'll break the chain. I won't go any more into details on the data structure, but why blockchains? They're transparent. All the data that goes into, better like this. All the data that goes into a block will be easily accessible, open for everybody to see, but it won't be traceable back to you. It's immutable in a way that you cannot change it. The blockchain will break. It's secure in a way that with decentralization and more users, the stronger it becomes. The more user and the stronger it will become, because the data in the database is being distributed all over, and the voting power on the network will be stronger with decentralization. It's stable because it's uninterrupted. It started at one point, and it won't stop until there's nobody there to support it. And the main point here is that for centuries, humans have been seeking ways to try to just trust each other. And with the internet, it's becoming harder and harder. The blockchain and their consensus algorithm allows for this peer-to-peer trust. So what is this? What is the current status of the blockchain? The blockchain today, it's a buzzword. If you've been following up on this space, you see the word blockchain everywhere, and it's used, overly used, and it's supposed to solve everything. It is vulnerable because, like I said earlier, with true decentralization, it becomes secure. And today we don't have true decentralization. We don't have the adoption yet. It's pretty slow, not very scalable, and doesn't handle a lot of traffic. And we have massive amounts of coins. And it's a hassle to get between them. It's a hassle to invest in a coin. But we like to dream big. We always have a big image about the future, and we think it's cool, but most of the time it's not that cool. But the future of blockchains is very promising. Solutions are already being developed for these problems. We have sidechains living outside of main chains. We have atomic swapping, which is changing from one currency to another without an exchange, just changing data. We have zero knowledge confirmation, which means I have a secret. I can prove to you that I have a secret, and I can prove to you that I have a secret, but you won't know the secret. So that will help speed up transactions on a blockchain. And then there are solutions like sharding to spread load, plasma, filtering out data, and Lightning Network, which is being built on top of the Bitcoin network. So great news. So how would it look in a couple of years? My prediction is that it will be intangible. We won't be talking about the blockchain. It will be running on the back of our phones, browsers, and other devices, even smaller devices. It will just be another protocol on the network layer. So I want to go over a couple of projects that spark my interest. And some of the early adopters, in my opinion, probably be the gaming industry. They already, it will be an easy transaction. They already have their in-game, in-game markets and exchanges. So for them, it won't be much of a change to go into cryptocurrency. Gambling, playing poker and betting online. I'm pretty sure that everybody that participates in gambling online would like to skip the third party, because you don't want anybody to take your cut when you're gambling. And they're also, it's an easy transition. They have to deposit money onto the service, which they could instead deposit into a cryptocurrency. And the advertising business is pretty fascinating. There are a lot of projects that are trying to develop some solutions. One of them is going to allow you to rent out your computing power and instead you won't view advertisements. Another one, publishers will pay a service and users get paid for viewing advertisements. And the online advertisement is kind of new. The internet hasn't been for that long, and I would love for advertisement online to be more relevant to me. This was mentioned in Ethereum's white paper, voting on the blockchain. There's always the human aspect, which is how do you know if this person is being forced into voting? How do you know if somebody's looking over the shoulder and such? So this is always going to be a stopper in the online voting. But I think the blockchain it's a step closer. Combined with KYC, which is know your customer, rafræn skilríki, you would be able to vote. You get a token, put your vote on the blockchain, you get a receipt. Everybody can see your vote, but they cannot trace it back to you. The only person that can trace it back is the person holding the receipt. Governments and banks. That's probably an obvious one, but I don't think banks are going to be obsolete, but I think they're going to have to adjust very quickly soon. Banks and governments are slow. They're slow processes, visa application, passports, taking loans, buying a property. It goes through multiple people. And the main jobs that are going to be in danger are the jobs where a person has to verify if two persons can trust each other. That's what the blockchain is about. It is the peer-to-peer trust. And you can put some complex contracts on the blockchain also. It doesn't have to be only a peer-to-peer. It can be, a four-way. 4 people have a key, and at least 2 of them have to be there to access the funds or something like that. Dubai, they want to be the first government with their papers on the blockchain by 2020. They want to start with visa applications, bill payments, and license renewals. And I believe they can accomplish it. They already have robot cops. It's not as cool as the actual RoboCop, but you know, at least they're trying, and they have the money. Estonia, they are way ahead of the game. They have had their electronic identification for a couple of years now, and it's very suitable with the blockchain technology. It allows people to control their own data, and they want to move healthcare onto the blockchain, which means you control your own health records and you control who has access to it. One moment, please. So, supply chains. Supply chain is not a blockchain, but it can be ran on one. It's transportation of goods from supplier to consumer. And it's all about traceability. It's all about traceability and possibly preventing fraud. I'm just gonna go straight into an example. I think that will be, yeah. Let's say I'm shipping chocolate to Australia. On the way, we have combined with the blockchain technology, we will have smart sensors in the container and the ship and the storage room and the car and such, measuring temperatures, pressure, humidity, and location. And they will be sending all this data to the blockchain. And somebody has to consume that data, otherwise the blockchain won't run. But so the supplier will be consuming that data to find out, to make sure that his product is being handled carefully the whole way. And as a consumer, I can make sure that the product I'm buying is originally from the place it is marked as. Maybe it doesn't fit as so good with chocolate, but you know, Louis Vuitton bags and wine and such. Jumping straight onto tokenized asset. Asset is anything that can be controlled, owned or controlled to produce value. Companies will be able to tokenize their equity and their products for easy investment and trading. Again, I'm just gonna go straight into an example. A cleaning company, their product is cleaning, tokenize that. A supermarket, their product is, for example, cleaning products. And those two will be able to do a trade instead of going through third parties. And you will be able to tokenize almost anything. You will be able to tokenize art, paintings, sports teams, your local store, or you could even tokenize talent. And this is probably what Justin Bieber's career would look like if you tokenize it. He went through his bad boy phase, hit rock bottom, and he's back on track. I missed one thing from last slide, which is very fascinating. Being able to tokenize real estate, where you can invest in somebody's else property, and anywhere. I could invest in a property in San Francisco, for example. Yeah. So to wrap it all up, I want to go into smart cities. They are being built all over the world, a couple of them in China. And one of them has made a deal with a blockchain company to run their infrastructure on a blockchain. A smart city is where technology and data collection should improve residents' lives. And they want to update the model of administration, agriculture, and retail by moving government documents and business registration documents such as certificates, tax registrations, and audit reports onto the blockchain. They want to try to prevent fraud, counterfeit goods, and have a transparent government, and yet a secure way to store the data. Something you would see in a smart city combined with the technology of Internet of Things, IoT, and artificial intelligence. Traffic lights, monitoring traffic, communicating to each other, sending data onto the blockchain, calculating how to streamline the traffic through the city in rush hours, and even being able to adjust to, being able to adjust. And the consumers of the data would be, for example, like Google Maps, or what will probably be Google Maps still in the future. So I'm done for now. Tack för mig.